personnel. Yes. Yes, sir.
Tell Morgan.
Go ahead. We're still waiting for Jessica.
Miss Beam.
The time is now 6:07. We'd like to open up the regular board meeting for the Goose Creek CCISD Board of Trustees. Mr. Poppy, was the meeting properly posted?
Yes, it was.
And we have a quorum.
We do.
Okay, thank you. As always, I'd like to start off with reading our vision and core values. Goose Creek is about developing the whole child. Goose Creek CISD develops and enhances each learner's intellectual, social, and emotional well-being, facilitated by a highly qualified team committed to growth, community collaboration, innovation, success, and determination. We empower every student with the knowledge and skills they need to succeed in a global community. Our core values are an acronym for our school district's initials. Graduate every child, children first in a safe and nurturing educational environment, collaborative community and parental involvement, integrity, respect, humility, and transparency, service before self, and diversity respected. Thank you. Dr. Duarte.
President Laredo, school board members, Dr. O'Brien. The opening exercises for the December 2nd, 2019 board meeting will be presented by students from William B. Travis Elementary School. We will begin the opening ceremonies with the prayer led by Tiffany Guy. Everyone, please rise.
Dear Lord, we want to thank you for blessing us so abundantly. We ask for your guidance throughout our meeting tonight. We pray blessing over our students, staff, and everyone here tonight as we celebrate you this holiday season. In your name we pray. Amen.
The pledges will be led by Morgan Gregory and Stephen Glazner.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I pledge allegiance to thee.
Honor
Honor Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. The 5th grade honors choir members will be performing the song Jingle Bell Rock. With us tonight are Morgan Gregory, Stephen Glazner, Amarani Perez Altamarino, Ethan Perez, David Vela Guajardo, Isaiah Seegers, Cole McMorrow, Jair Amado, and Marley Ward. The students are under the direction of music teacher Kelsey Sharman and principal Miss Adrienne Tessar and her AP Cara Munn.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing, jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing on bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells chime, jingle bells chime. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the lofty air, what a bright sight! It's a bright sight to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, Christmas time, to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet. Jingle all round the clock. Mix and mingle in the jingle beat. That's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell, that's the jingle bell rock. Happy holidays!
Do we have any parents and or other friends or family of the students that came to see this wonderful performance? Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you for sharing your children with us today.
Susan Chiborowski, our Director of Fine Arts, will be presenting our recognitions for Texas Educational Theater Association State Awards and our UIL resolutions.
Good evening, Superintendent O'Brien, board members, Goose Creek staff, parents, and community members. I'm Susan Chabrowski. I'm the Director of Fine Arts for Goose Creek CISD. I figured I'd say that since this is my first time addressing the board. I'm honored to recognize this year's Texas Educational Theater Association state winners from Goose Creek Memorial High School. These students competed and won the following awards at the Texas Educational Theater Association Theater Fest 2019 competition in September in Dallas, Texas. Students, please come to the front as I call your name. Gabriel Brock is a 10th grader. He won Design Fest Honorable Mention Award. Adrian Medina, 11th grade, winner of Playfest Full-Length Play Writing Contest. Caleb Saunders, 11th grade, winner of Playfest Full-Length Playwriting Contest. Gerard Michael, 11th grade, winner of Playfest 10-Minute Playwriting Contest. Heather Berry, 11th grade, winner 24-Hour Film Festival, winner Animated Film Festival, 24-Hour Film Festival Best Actress Award recipient, and Design Fest Honorable Mention Award winner. Hannah Elliott, 12th grade, winner of Playfest 10-Minute Playwriting Contest, and received 9 offers from universities and colleges based on her acting audition. And Jonathan Amesqua, 12th grade, winner 24-Hour Film Festival, winner Animated Film Festival, Design Fest Top Designer Award winner, received 16 offers from colleges and universities based on his body of work. These students are under the direction of Mrs. Alicia Green and Mr. Jeremy Ashland. I would also like to congratulate the parents of these students. Your support for your child's pursuit of excellence in theater is so valuable, and we'd like to honor you as well. If you're a parent or family member of one of these students, would you please stand? Beautiful. Congratulations. Also tonight, we're recognizing our 3 high school marching bands. The Board of Trustees Resolution, State of Texas, County of Harris, recognizing UIL Region 19 5A 6A marching contest. On Saturday, October 19th, 2019, all 3 Goose Creek CISD high schools competed at the UIL Region 19 5A 6A marching contest at Ray Madry Stadium in Channelview ISD. All 3 GCCISD high school marching bands earned superior ratings. Because it is a 1A, 3A, 5A year for state marching contest, recognizing both Goose Creek Memorial High School and Robert E. Lee High School marching bands advance to the UIL Area E Marching Contest. The Board of Trustees of the Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District extends sincere congratulations to the students, the directors, and the school. Your efforts have brought honor to you and our school district. The Board of Trustees wishes for your continued success in the future. Signed by the Goose Creek Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees and Superintendent. I've got, I think, most of our band directors here. From Ross Sterling High School, Head Band Director Brad Como, Assistant Band Director, Percussion Director Brent Gibson, Interim Assistant Band Director Dwight Watson, Color Guard Instructor Terry Britton. From Robert E. Lee High School, I'll mention that the only reason Sterling was not at area contest was because they're a 6A. Otherwise, they would have been there. This year was for 5A. From Robert E. Lee High School, Head Band Director Robert Poulon. Sorry, Robert Poulon. I got it. Assistant Band Director Cassie Smith. Assistant Band Director and Percussion Director Dr. Stefan Ice. And Color Guard Instructor Charlize Mahalski. And then from Goose Creek Memorial High School, Head Band Director Sean Schultz, Assistant Band Director Taylor Kohlmeyer, Assistant Band Director and Percussion Director Dr. Joshua Haggerty, and Color Guard Instructor Ben Villarreal. And I'll say just really quickly, it's quite an amazing feat for our district to have all three of our high schools get a superior rating. So congratulations to our high school marching bands.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all the hard work that those band directors do for our kids and the kids performing for us as well. We're going to backtrack a little bit. We have a citizens participation. We had one person sign up. The board will hear comments from the audience only during public comment portion of the meeting. Individuals wishing to speak must submit a card prior to the start of the board meeting. The board will allow 3 minutes for tonight's public comment portion of the meeting. Each speaker is allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, and or other community members by name. The board requests that comments on any subject, whether positive or negative, be courteous and respectful. Disruption of a meeting will not be tolerated at any time. First, we have, our only speaker today is Brandon Rupp. Mr. Rupp, you have 3 minutes. Our secretary, Mr. Poppy, will indicate when you have 1 minute left.
Over the past few weeks, I have surveyed and polled many students from all across CISD, asking for their opinions on the current state of their school and the district itself. Serving as the president of the class of 2021 at Goose Creek Memorial, I first started small by asking my fellow students about their opinions on pressing topics, such as the mega lunch, stress, and our schedules. However, I began to expand the scope of this project when I realized that students from all schools were deeply interested in these topics. Students from Impact, Lee High School, Goose Creek Memorial, and Sterling have all been critical in the formation of this piece. By far the most prevailing motif behind their opinions is change. Here's a few of the main things that I specifically heard from them. Number one, the mega launch is a very interesting idea that could probably work and compromises with what every single person wants out of this deal. While there are various levels of intensity in how this idea should be executed, there's a general wariness on how effectively this plan can be enacted. I've heard ideas ranging from a proposed open campus during this period to the use of similar systems to the schools which GCCISD have already scoped out over the last year in an effort to gain information about this idea. Number two, changing the schedules to having 7 classes would maybe be more productive and perhaps healthier for students. 3, the school change times, while lesser of an issue today, are still something lingering on students' minds regardless. This issue seems to be divided down the middle, however, with many students either finding inherent pros or cons with the idea. Number 4, the motivation behind many of these proposed changes is high levels of stress. While stating that high schoolers are under a high amount of stress is like standing up here and saying that water is wet, I still feel like it's an important point to make. Once again, when I took the time to say what, most students answered change. But when I took the time to say why, stress was most often the answer. This research has been conducted as a first step towards a new journalistic program. Many members of the Baytown NHI are starting an attempt to get more information regarding the students and the school they go to for over 70% of the week.
1 minute remaining.
I have been at the forefront of this venture, but on behalf of myself and the entirety of Baytown NHI, we thank the school board for their flexibility and availability in giving a platform for ideas such as these to be presented. Board members such as the current president, Mr. Laredo, have helped form our organization into one of the leading youth groups in Baytown. We are beyond grateful for the sacrifice of his time and patience during many important moments over the last few years. While many people are quick to criticize the district, we feel as if it's just as important, if not more so, to compliment the many great things everyone here does for us each and every week. Hey, sometimes it even makes school fun to go to, and that's a wild thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rupp. Mr. Rupp, at some point, if you can maybe get those results and kind of like the basis, not asking for for you to sit down and write an essay or, but if you can give us a copy of that information and so we can distribute among the board members.
Okay,
thank you. Thank you, sir. Next, we have approval of minutes. We're going to do October 28th Team of 8 training and November 4th. I don't know if we probably want to take these separate. So we can,
I'll move for approval of the October 28th meeting.
I second.
motion by Ms. Woods, second by Mr. Poppy. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4, 0 against. Next, we have our meeting for November 4th. A motion by Ms. Guy and a second by Mr. Cotter. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Against? Abstentions? Okay, thank you. Motion passes 5-4, 0 against, 1 abstention. Next, we have discussion items. Mr. O'Brien.
This evening, we have on our superintendent's reports, we have progress on the ABM Bundled Energy Project. Mark Sanier and Mike Rasmussen.
Good evening, President Laredo, members of the Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. O'Brien. Thank you for allowing us to present this evening. My name is Mike Rasmussen. I am the Energy and Environmental and Emergency Manager for Goose Creek. And it's our privilege to provide a brief report of progress for the ABM Bundled Energy Project. Representing ABM this evening is Mark Sonia. He's the Director of Bundled Energy Solutions Business Development. As a reminder, from the beginning of the project, which kicked off its development, well, not development, but the actual implementation, we're looking at a nearly $32 million savings to the school district over 15 years in energy and operational costs. And there's a number of facility improvements through ECMs that are included in this project. The active schedule started in June of this year and will be complete in October of 2020 with one real component that will actually take that long. The progress of the project at this point, a number of the ECMs are 100% complete, but three of them, the three longest range components of the project, are around 50%. That is the LED lighting in the schools, where we're changing the fluorescent tubes to LED, the HVAC controls, which again is the longest portion, and then the new turf. We've had a few setbacks, but we're moving forward nicely. Those three parts of the project are already at 50% completion. We have a few others that are well on their way at 80%. That's the sports lighting, and then the power factor correction. And then the other items, will show you a bar graph that shows that they're at 100%. So there's really only 5 more components that are still left to finish in this project, which again will complete in October of 2020. At this point, I would like to show you briefly a video clip that demonstrates one of the bonuses of the ABM project, and this is a small lab, interactive learning lab, that was installed on November 1st, and we did training for the implementation of this project, and this is a very brief clip of some of the staff that was trained on the small lab. The interactive learning lab improves student engagement 7 times. It has shown a 33% increase in teacher effectiveness on the delivery of instruction, and it improves student achievement by up to 86%. So we're really excited to have this being implemented here in Goose Creek. Basically, the teachers use, it's an interactive floor with 4 corner sensors and lighting that's tied to the computer system, and they're able to put the instructional piece on the computer and then put projects together so that the kids can interact during the time of study. Here they're doing multiplication, so when a student gets it right, they pass the baton to another person, and then they're asked to answer that question. But that type of cognitive learning is just engaging the students in more ways than standard instruction. So we're excited about that. And looking forward, one of the things that this project has helped flush out is some additional future energy savings. So some of the things that we're investigating in that to see how we can also benefit the district further. We're looking at indoor air quality really close, improving building wellness, and controlling the amount of fresh air, and that also will assist with student learning, optimizing the learning environment. We're investigating more on solar power and battery storage. Right now, the warranties are running about 25 years, so they're a lot more effective than they used to be in the past. If we can utilize solar power with battery storage, we can reduce demand and our overall district carbon footprint. We're also looking at backup generation. Right now, we have emergency generation throughout the district. We'd like to go a little bit further with a stronger generation that allows a facility to have redundancy during storm outages and also reduce demand. The more we can reduce demand during the peak times, the lower our electric bills will be throughout the year. And then Vortex is another one that we implemented as part of this project. We did it at 7 schools on chiller systems. Vortex is non-chemical treatment of the water for the chillers, and if we can get away from some of the chemical treatment, the equipment lasts a little bit longer and runs more efficiently. So those are some of the things that we're looking forward at projecting how we can bring more savings to the district. One of the things that's been really exciting about working with ABM, they have a Make a Difference program, and they have actually elected Goose Creek to highlight their Make a Difference program. It's been internal for their company where they highlight different parts of the company. They're actually bringing us in. They did some interviews and some television videotaping, and so we have the opportunity to impact their company in an even greater way by showing them how well we work together. And then the last thing I like to say is this project has had some tremendous giants that have really supported its implementation. I'll call them delivery giants. So Dr. Anthony Price, the Deputy Superintendent of Auxiliary Services, and Margie Grimes, our Chief Financial Officer, they really have engaged, empowered, and inspired us to do a great project. And Christina Stefanescu and Mark Saunier have been here from the beginning and really helped with the implementation of the project. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to get caught up on our ABM project. I'm open for any questions at this time.
Does anybody have any questions? I have a comment. I'm sorry, Mr. Moose. I just want to tell you guys thank you, because some of the projects that are, to me, very outside the box in speaking of savings, because, for example, people usually see as turf as something that's not, it's like a want, not a need. And you guys have managed to do that, and like the flashing lights at the Star Wars Stadium, those kind of things. It feels good to be able to tell people, and as a coach of another district, they ask me, well, how can you afford that? I said, we're saving money doing it. And when you see the flashes and people are like, hey, look at that, I said, we're saving money with those. And it feels good to be able to tell that to our constituents, because it's something that they can see, and it's something that affects their children. And I just want to tell you, thank you for bringing that innovation and thinking outside the box. Thank you, Dr. Price, Ms. Garcia, Ms. Grimes, Dr. O'Brien, for leading us in this charge. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark. All right, our next superintendent's report is Counseling and Student Wellness Advisory Update. Dr. Reminik, Ms. Caldwell, Ms. Aika. Thank you, ladies, for being here this evening to present.
Good evening. My name is Precious Reminek, and I'm the Director of Counseling and Student Wellness. And this evening I have with me Teresa Caldwell. Teresa is the Coordinator for Behavior and Mental Health Wellness. And we also have Aika Wilrich. She's the Coordinator for College and Career Readiness. So today I'm going to present to you an overview of our Counseling and Student Wellness Advisory Committee. As you can see, here are just a couple of pictures of our entire team. We have services provided to our students from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, as well as up to the early college as well. And these are just some pictures right there of our activities that we've done. So we do everything from college and career readiness, also to outreach to ensure that our students are provided with all of the services that they need. On yesterday, December 1st, the state of Texas instituted a new law. Our manual, which is our 5th edition of the Texas Model for Comprehensive School Counseling Programs, went into effect. As you all know, in the state of Texas, we've had many things to happen, and unfortunately, it's caused the state to really hone in and really look at all of the needs of the kids. And because of that, our department, over the last year and a half or so, we started working on what will the new standards look like. And so because of that, we had to institute into our program an advisory council. Right here, you will have the opportunity to actually see the model, the 5th edition. You will be provided with the link that gives the actual handbook. It's a big guide, and it tells everything that's involved in a counseling program. There are 4 components, as you can see in the heart: guidance curriculum, responsive services, individual planning, and system support. So what is the purpose of the advisory committee? The advisory council has to make program recommendations that best serve the district or school, and it also leads to the implementation of suggested school counseling program improvements. So the whole idea behind this is to look at the needs of the students and be sure that we're serving those needs based upon what they're telling us. So in our advisory committee, the members of the actual committee, it's two layers. It's our district layer, which is our district committee, and then there's campus layer as well. And with that, in order to actually determine what's needed for the students, we have to understand that model, and that's why I'm referencing that a couple of times. So we have to understand the philosophy behind it, and then we also have to be able to understand what types of services should be delivered to the students. At the district level, our advisory committee consists of central office administrators, our superintendent designees, which are Dr. Price and Dr. Duarte. We have administrators of special programs, CTE, compensatory ed, special ed, migrant is involved, student services. Those are all special programs. We have campus school counselors. We have some principals and APs. And then we also, in addition to this committee, all of our school counselors and other administrators have to be involved in any task groups. So whatever we decide to do based upon the student's needs, it's not just one person making the decision. It has to be the decision of the people in the community, the people that we serve on campuses, and of course the student voice is very important. On the advisory committee, again, we have to look at what exactly is needed in Baytown. We have a lot of surrounding school districts, but the needs are different in those districts. Even within our district, the needs are different at each campus. At the bottom, I'd like to call your attention to the 4 areas of student competencies that we have to ensure that our students know and understand. Those 4 areas are similar to the TEKS. So just like students have things they have to learn in math and science, the counseling program also has some TEKS, we'll call them TEKS, that they need to learn. And they are intrapersonal effectiveness, interpersonal effectiveness, personal health and safety, and then post-secondary education and career readiness. So throughout this, of course, there's a timeline. We have to organize and plan everything. We have to design it, implement it, and then evaluate it. We're never done. We're never done with this process because our goal is always continuous improvement. And of course, each year, each semester, the needs of the students change, and we have to be able to change with those needs and meet them as they present themselves. So we have 28 schools. How does it look? I shared with you all that there are 4 components. It's not a cookie cutter approach. One school may need something more than the other. And so what we've asked the campuses to do is look specifically at the needs of your kids and when you're addressing all of the 4 components of the program. So the role of the advisory committee. Again, we're looking at the needs. What needs to be addressed? And then we have to constantly look at the audit cycle. So sometimes campuses may have to make a decision. Do we talk about social media? Do we talk about vaping? That's the new popular thing amongst students. Do we talk about human trafficking? Or as you heard just tonight, a student talked about stress. So is that what we need to talk about? So we're constantly looking at our target. We have to determine who the audience will be and the time that it will take. Because as we know, in addition to our counseling department, they have their core curriculum that has to be met as well. But each campus gets to determine how that looks. With our curriculum, once we look at all the topics and the data and the needs assessments, we actually have to figure out what are we going to teach. And there should be a SMART goal written as well. So we just, as we're doing teaching and learning, just as is expected in school, we also should have some goals to go along with it. So if we have a speaker, what's our expected outcome? This slide here shows an example out of the handbook from pages 87 and 88 that talks specifically about the guidance curriculum. So everyone has a role in this. The school counselor has a role, the teacher, the parents, and even the administrator. And so in the book, under each section, it tells us specifically what we should be doing. So our parents, when we're talking about the guidance curriculum, they should know what the trends are, how the kids are responding, and how we're going to effectively get information to them for their students so that they can learn it. This is an example of the scope and sequence. Again, here are all the topics. You can tell that in this snippet that is broken down from primary, intermediate, middle, junior high, and then high school. And so out of those 4 areas, once we know what the topic is, we go straight to this document here, and then we can determine exactly what needs to be taught to the kids at their appropriate level. We had our first advisory meeting before the holidays. We will have our next one on December 5th, and then we'll have 2 in the spring semester. And so at the district level, what we will be doing is we're going to take a look at our needs in regards to social emotional learning. That's the big topic right now, and it's something that's required in the state. And it's time for us to take a look at all of the vendors that are out there, and we have to see as a committee, what are we wanting to give to our kids? We'll also take a look at family and community engagement needs. We'll establish subcommittees for those. We'll talk about college and career readiness and the focus area for that as well. In addition to the advisory committee, I wanted to share with you all that on the counseling side, our counselors, we're in year 2. We have a task force because this is a lot of information in this handbook. So we work in 90-minute sessions where we just actually get in, dive in. We help one another to understand what it looks like, and then they have to make it specific to their campuses. At this point, counselors are given all of their input, and then we talk about as a district, what does it look like based upon that input from all of the stakeholders involved. As I stated earlier, our work is never done. We've done a lot of things within the department, but every year there's always something we can improve on. So it's just a cycle of continuous improvement throughout this process. Questions?
Does anybody have questions? Sorry, I have a few. One of the things that you talked about was getting information to parents and making sure that depending on what the depending on what the presentation's on, that they're going to have to know certain criteria, certain information on how to communicate or how to avoid things, I guess, within your lesson plans. Or there was a chart where you talked about the different roles, and you had roles where that's about okay, right there. Thank you. So, for example, you state that the parent has an active role in this process. So, my question is, it has a little bit of a parts. How do we get that to the parents? It's pretty easy for a lot of parents. You have kids at different levels in school, and throughout those levels, you see which parents are there. But the ones that really need that outreach aren't usually there. Are we working? How are we doing to create that community outreach? Are we just specifically sticking to having these discussions at our schools? Are we going into the community? Are we working with other agencies and stakeholders within the community? Because I know, for example, there's we have for example, they've started I don't know what the name of the organization is, but like a pre-K organization here in Baytown that's working with the community and identifying and helping parents work with their kids. I know you mentioned migrant, and they have a good teaching a parent. They have a component, what used to be called Building Bridges. There's programs like CIS. What are we doing to go out into the community to reach those parents that perhaps aren't there?
So, great question. So we have been talking about how we market our needs. And so, first of all, it's just ensuring that the information is given to the parents, because I know at some point when we get to secondary, we hear a lot that parents don't get the information, the kids don't bring it home. So we've done a lot of trying to ensure that parents get the text messages, that they get it by email, especially when we have district level events. We always ensure that it happens that way. We've done text messages, phone calls, emails. We ask them to put it on their web pages. We ask for them to put it on their marquees. We have the televisions in the offices in the library. So we even talked today. We had a counselors meeting just today, and I share with them, I'm going to be sending stuff out, and you all need to make it a habit to ensure that that stuff is on the TV. In addition to that, as you stated, we have other organizations that we work with, such as communities and schools, community youth specialists. And so all of those different organizations are a part of our team. We meet weekly. We share that information. Any chance we have, if we have an upcoming program, we put it, we give that information out as well through churches. We've done churches, community center. We're working with the community center right now for our mental health side of things.
And the call-outs.
And the call-outs.
Thank
Can
you.
you go back a couple of slides? I think it was talking about the state's requirements for the, wait, shoot, let me pull it up on my screen here. I can't read yours. It's the one where we're talking about who all is supposed to be involved in the advisory committee.
Yes.
And I noticed on there that it mentioned students and parents, but I didn't see anywhere in your presentation anyone outside of district employee.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. So if you go back, right here. This one right here is the district committee. And so as you notice,
right, this is where I was noticing that there's no parents, no students, or anything like that. Where do they come into this process?
Okay, so the state says for the district level committee, this is who should be here. But on our actual district level committee, we've added a parent component, okay?
A parent component, what does that mean?
We've invited parents to attend. So we have five parents who were invited to be a part of
From the whole district?
From the whole district, because this is not, when we talk about the model, at the district level, you're looking at district needs. The parents, when you look at the model, they're asked to be on the campus level and the students as well. So each campus should have parent representation and student representation.
Okay, so at the campus level, can we go to that? Is there was there a page that showed the campus level? There was another slide that had yellow blocking on it, and it said Texas at the top. Oh wait, that's one. Okay. Yeah, a school district shall work with students, staff, parents, and the community to identify priorities similar to such. Mr. Rupp was here earlier talking about priorities at the high school levels amongst the students. So is this where you're working campus level?
Right. So yes. So at the campus level, they have a committee, and that committee will consist of students.
Each campus has
all
a
20.
committee.
Yes, all 28 campuses will have to have an advisory committee that will consist of parents.
Okay, but they don't yet. They will.
Some have started.
Okay.
So remember, the law went into effect just yesterday, but we started talking to the counselors about this about a year or so ago, preparing them that this was coming. It's on its way.
Yeah, we don't usually wait for the laws to go into
No, we don't. And so that's why we started preparing them early on. But they know the December 1st, was it. It's official. So they are prepared to have all of the representation that they need on their campuses.
Okay, so at the district level, though, you don't have any student participation?
No, we don't have any students at this time.
I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Dr. Remini.
Thank you.
Next we have action items. First we have consideration resolution to terminate Goose Creek CISD money purchase pension plan.
Yes, administration has presented that to the board for consideration on page 24 of your pamphlet, showing the approval of resolution to terminate the Goose Creek CISD money purchase pension plan based on the recommendation from the committee to terminate the plan once all assets have been distributed to plan participants. And we do have Scott Hopman here with TCG to answer any questions, follow-up questions we might have. This has been discussed previously, but this is the point of action for the board this evening.
Do we have a motion?
To receive lumps.
Motion to cancel.
Second.
A second.
Motion by Mr. Cotter, second by Mr. Poppy. Any discussion on the item?
The money purchase plan, is that going to affect anybody in a negative way?
No, sir. Scott, go ahead and, if you don't mind, sharing just brief about the transition real quickly.
This is the plan put in place in 1981 when the district opted out of Social Security.
Okay.
So they started putting contributed 6.2% the district saved at the time into this plan.
Right.
In 2013, that had to be frozen because TRS didn't allow it to be converted.
Sir, can you drop them? It's on.
That green one's on, right?
It came on already.
Sorry. So in 2013, the district had to freeze it in a negotiation with TRS because the district was considering a credible comp for TRS calculations. TRS didn't approve of that. So since then, the plan has been frozen. No new contributions, no new employees are participating in the program. So it's a dwindling population base as we get further and further from the freeze date back in 2013.
So did it?
In essence, Mr. Sampson, it goes from being managed by the district to being managed by the individual. That's what this cancellation allows for each person to manage their money how they see fit.
Yeah. So I heard Social Security come up in there somewhere.
It was the origin.
Yeah, this
of
has
canceling
no
Social
effect
Security.
on participants' Social Security whatsoever. In 1981, the district previous to that had contributed to Social Security for full-time employees. In 1981, the district got out of Social Security. Instead of the district taking the 6.2% savings, they created this plan and put those contributions into participant accounts. They did that from 1981 till 2013 when TRS ruled it was not credible comp and could not be done any longer. Otherwise, TRS was going to retroactively affect retirees' credible comp in their pensions. But it will not have any effect on participants' Social Security as far as them receiving benefits for those that are eligible for Social Security benefits.
The district back then, when the districts in Texas were forced to pull out, the school board at that time decided that in order for employees, the district would continue to contribute. And a few years ago, if you recall, we had to stop it because of TRS.
Right.
And all we're doing is taking this, instead of us managing, and I made sure I asked Dr. O'Brien, are all the employees informed that now they can do it? And he said yes. So now they're just taking control of their money.
Because I knew a few years ago we had the same conversation about TRS. It's probably been 5, 6 years ago.
A little bit longer.
Yeah, well, it was before Dr. O'Brien came in. And I was just curious, we revisited this. I just wanted to make sure.
At that point, we stopped it, but we continued to manage it.
Okay.
And now we're just letting people manage their own money. Any other questions or discussion? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have a motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Poppy. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4-0 against. Next, we have consent agenda.
Yes, sir. Administration has for consideration of the board consent agenda: 1, donation from Walmart Import Distribution Center; 2, attendance application waiver for September 19th, 2019, Imelda; 3, fiscal year 2018-19 Goose Creek CISD money purchase pension plan and trust audit report; 4, revised list of qualified broker dealers and financial institutions for 2019-2020; 5, construction manager at risk, CMAR, evaluation, rankings, and selection of, delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to negotiate and to approve the contract and subsequent guaranteed maximum prices with Bartlett Cock General Contractors for the construction of the MEP #1 project. 6, manager at risk, CMAR, evaluation, rankings, and selection of, delegate authority to the superintendent or designee to negotiate and to approve the contract and subsequent guaranteed maximum prices with Marshall Construction for the construction of the San Jacinto Elementary School replacement campus. 7, services and solutions agreement with Xerox Business Solutions Southwest to provide multifunction devices district-wide. 8, first option to extend CSP for maintenance and building supplies and materials. 9, first option to extend CSP for awards, trophies, plaques, and related items. 10, first option to extend CSP for athletic supplies, equipment, sporting goods, and related items.
Does anybody have anything in consent agenda that can take out and use separately or vote on separately? Okay.
I move that we approve consent agenda items B1 through 10.
Can I have a question?
Okay.
Just one question.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
When we say maximum bid, are we talking about the bid maximum, or how are we talking about that?
Mr. Sampson, the way the guaranteed maximum price works is the award recipient knows that's the most that they can be, but because of the method chosen,
Okay.
Construction manager at risk, there could be considerable savings to the district. That's just the most it could possibly be. We anticipate savings over that GMP.
Okay.
Those costs will be forthcoming once the drawings go out.
Mhm.
Right now, they're working alongside with the architect and our department. And so once we get the final drawings out, then they'll put a final cost to, and they could be different packages of work. And that's where the guaranteed maximum prices come in.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? A motion by Ms. Woods, second by Ms. Guy. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, motion passes 6-4, 0 against. Consent agenda passes. Next, we have future board agenda items, board training, or board meetings. Anybody have any future board agenda items? Go ahead.
Can we have, excuse me, Mr. Mullane come in and give us kind of an overview of this past football, volleyball, and everything season? Just give us.
Winter sports.
Yeah.
Fall sports.
Fall.
We're about to
Over
start.
at the end of December.
We're about to start winter in soccer. Trust me.
No.
It's gonna be cold.
Yes, sir. To answer your question, we could provide that information.
I'm curious to see some of the information from our speaker today, Mr. Rupp. And there's a couple of things that, those things that I'd like to maybe address a little bit later, maybe as a part of when we have a workshop, maybe as part of a workshop.
I believe as a part of our strategic planning, we're doing surveys also periodically, quarterly. And Dr. Corte, help me, do you have something in early spring to report on surveys?
IOC has asked us to talk about the school start times.
There were other things on here.
Yeah, what about the schedule blocking? You probably need to.
Go to 7 periods a day?
I
It would
didn't
just,
say we need to go to 7
No,
periods, so we need to talk about it.
that's what he said, right?
I would like to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I also like to talk about mega lunch. So those are things that maybe, I know we're at a very close, I don't even know if at this point we can maybe start them for next 2020-21, but at least initiate those conversations. Do we have any surveys that go out to any of our students as far as like how they feel at? He said, I'll just say that when he talked about school change times, it was about half and half, which, yeah, the start time was half and half for different reasons, and the IOC is made up primarily of employees.
So we have survey results from the end of last year. I've asked them to allow us to do a second survey this year since we now have two cohorts coming up.
Yes.
So we're going to distribute a survey in January to parents, students, and staff.
That's what I was referencing.
I don't know.
The second wave of survey.
Start time, our grades went up this year with just throwing whatever.
No, but I think issues adding to their stress, could be also adding to staff stress, but mega lunch or open campus.
I don't know about, we'll have to discuss
We
some
just
of
need to
those.
talk about this. and definitely the scheduling, the block scheduling.
What I'd like is for Mr. Rupp to get us a copy of whatever he has as maybe a jumping point, and then we start with that. If that's okay, if the board can, those are things that maybe we can address at a workshop, if it's okay with you guys. Maybe once the year starts, and just something to put in the back of our head.
And the stress issue, as the counseling and wellness committees get out there and get involved, get to the root of the stress issue. I mean, if there's so much stress and that's the answer to everything on these surveys, we need to identify where that's coming from and what we can do to help alleviate as much of it as possible.
Do we board training? Do we have anything coming up, Ms. Garcia? Winter governance, I guess.
Yes, in February,
It can
March.
change. I'm going to give you some information on that.
make sure you give your cards to Ms. Garcia. I saw a few of them floating around earlier for the training we had. Did you? Okay, great. And board meetings, I think this is the only meeting we have this month, which leads a little less stress for us. But anyway, next we have.
So it's time to prepare for the next one.
Yeah.
So our next one is January 13th.
Who's next? Do we have Ms. Guy is next with Dr. O'Brien and I? Okay. Dr. O'Brien will get you a date and time. And then in February, it'll be, for the February meeting, it will be Mr. Carter. Next, we have closed session. The board will now recess into closed session pursuant to the following sections of Texas Open Meeting Act: Texas Government Code Section 551.071, 072, 073, 074, 075, 076, 082, 083, 084, 087. At 7:03, no action will be taken while the board is in closed meeting. It was made while the board was in closed session. Dr. O'Brien.
At this time, the administration would recommend the board approve the elections and resignations as presented.
I'll second the motion.
Don't everybody jump at once there. A motion by Ms. Guy, second by Ms. Woods. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4, 0 against.
And we have one administrative election to present, Sharon Seaman as speech language pathologist.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
And the board, administration will hold off on other elections at this time, other than this one.
Okay. We have a motion by Ms. Guy, second by Mr. Carter. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-4, 0 against. Okay. Is that okay? So now the board's gonna. Hold on, let me find it. The board will now recess into a closed session pursuant to the following section of the Texas Open Meeting Act, 551.082 at 7:42 p.m. Mr.
Further instructions would include that we are going to recess into the closed boardroom for consultation with an attorney. And then following that, we're going to ask, the meeting is dismissed because the only thing left on our meeting is closed session. So we will be hosting closed session in the office, in the room out here, after we go into consultation in the back with an attorney. So the meeting is in effect closed, over except for closed session. So we will come out of closed session in a moment and ask everyone to evacuate the room in which we will conduct the remainder of closed session. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I apologize. That was on my list. Yes, sir. That was on my list. Thank you. I apologize for that. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read it now.
No, what he was saying.
Okay. Well, I'm going to reread this then, because this is what I have. This time we are taking. I'm just going to reread for the record. We're taking up agenda item G related to a parent complaint appeal hearing pursuant to policy FNG local. Since the parent complaint appeal involves complaints regarding personnel and involved students, we will now move into closed session under 551.071, 074, 082, and 0821 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. The board may initially consult with the board's attorney, after which, without objection, we will hold the hearing in closed session. At the conclusion of the hearing, we will return to open session to make any appropriate action regarding the hearing. Everyone not participating in this hearing will please be excused. Thank you. Okay, the time is now 8:06 p.m. No decision was made while the board was in closed session. We're going to open up the meeting again to go over one more item that was left off, item H. Dr. O'Brien?
The administration would recommend that the board consider and take action concerning compensation matters involving GCCISD police department officers and their employees as presented.
I move that we.
Actually, it is. Yes, ma'am.
Board decided to go ahead and go back into open and address that one item we were closed to hear from the parties.
I have a motion by Ms. Woods. I need a second, please. I have a second by Mr. Cotter. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Was that Mr. Simpson?
Yeah.
Okay, that motion passes 6-4-0 against. Okay, I'm sorry, let me go back. Okay, at this time, we're taking up agenda item G related to a parent complaint appeal hearing pursuant to the policy FNG. Since the parent complaint appeal involves complaints regarding personnel and involves students, we will now move into closed session under sections 551, 071, 072, 082, and 0821 of the Texas Open Meetings Act. The board may initially consult with board attorney, after which without objection will hold the hearing in closed session. At the conclusion of the hearing, we will return to open session to take any appropriate action regarding the hearing. Everyone not participating, please be excused. At 8:08 p.m., we're going into closed session. The time is now 10 o'clock p.m. Board has returned from closed session, having heard the appeal. Is there any discussion? Does any board member wish to make a motion regarding item G?
And you are back in open session, right? Mr.
Right,
President?
I made that
Thank you.
statement.
I move that the board deny the appeal and uphold the decision at level 1, except that the administration is directed to seal the students' main expulsion records at the district level, only to be open with the permission of superintendent or deputy superintendent.
Do I have a second? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Poppy, second by Mr. Cotter. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, motion passes 6-4-0 against. Having heard, I'm sorry, 5-4-0 against. I forgot one left. I apologize. Okay, having completed the posted agenda, we will adjourn at 10:01 p.m. Thank you. You have a good evening.